A man can never have too many tools. However, in Leathercraft, you can regret buying tools. In this video, I'm going to show the tools that I regret buying. I'll also share some alternatives that you can use. Let's begin. This is by far my most beautiful and expensive hand tool. The Plough Gauge is used to cut belts and straps. The reason I bought this tool is because I was making belts more than 5mm thick. The benefits of the Plough Gauge is that you can cut a wide range of widths. You have a very sharp blade. However, I found with the Plough Gauge, I didn't end up with a straight cut on the particular leather that I was using. I also found on a certain bridle leather, the leather would be compressed and it would crease as it was gone through the blade. Another thing is because it was so expensive, this tool I don't really use it a lot. What I'd recommend instead is a high quality strap cutter, draw gauge. I would recommend with a strap cutter, make sure you get a high quality strap cutter because some can't handle going more than 5mm thick like the one I have. The next tool is the corner punch. Now this tool here is actually quite good because it allows you to punch corners very easily. The pro of this tool is that if you're using this angle all the time, that's fine. So it really depends on how often you use that particular type of corner. And for me, I don't use this type of corner a lot because I'm constantly changing the different corner depending on the project. So that is the reason why I regret this tool, because I don't really use it. What I would recommend instead is to make corners, you can simply use a coin, or you can design a bunch of different corners like I have done here. And also to go around corners, you can use a precision knife or a flat blade skiving knife. The next tool is a skiving knife. Now skiving knives come in a range of different sizes, different angles, and this particular blade here is actually better suited to a left-hander. And because I'm a right-hander, this blade here, it's not really effective. It's a good idea that when you're looking at buying a skiving knife, make sure you get the right angle. Now with skiving knives and paring knives, there are a wide variety of different widths. Now I would recommend you get a blade that has a bit of width to it and get a blade that has your specific angle of your left-hander or right-hander. What I would also recommend is getting a paring knife, just because without the handle, it's a lot more easier to skive, especially on marble slab, because the handle here can kind of get in the way. I found that a paring knife can also allow you to skive longer distances as well, because you can get more of a lower angle. So a paring knife, I highly recommend. Also a flat blade skiving knife. You can use a flat blade skiving knife to go around corners, to cut leather, and also to skive. The next tool is a Dremel Burnisher. Now, if you've burnished before consistently, it can hurt your shoulder. The problem I found that using the Dremel was it would go a bit too fast and it just wouldn't burnish as good compared to by doing it by hand. And that's a shame, but that's just my personal experience. So I do regret buying this because I hardly ever use this. As you can see, I've used it a little bit. What I'd recommend instead is obviously burnishing by hand, and if you can afford it, buy a burnishing machine. This of course will depend on if you're making a large scale production. And when you're burnishing, especially doing it consistently, just be careful you don't damage your shoulder. The next tool is a low quality edge beveler. Remember, a sharp tool is a safe tool. With an edge beveler, I highly recommend you get a good quality edge beveler, so don't be afraid to spend a little bit of extra money, and a high quality edge beveler will be much more satisfying to use as it glides along the edge. I recommend getting a high quality oblong punch, and you need to make sure you get the oblong punch that suits the buckle as well. So depending on the buckle that you use, just make sure you have an oblong punch that matches it. If you don't have an oblong punch, you can just use a hole puncher, and then use a small blade such as a utility knife or a precision knife to cut the straight lines. The final tool I regret buying, it's not really a tool per se, but it is accessories. Some of these are buckles, zippers, zipper pulls and stops, Chicago screws, cap rivets, snaps and more. We've all done it where we throw an extra item or two in the cart and it ends up sitting in your drawer. I'd recommend buying minimal, and if you're not going to use the accessory within 3 months, don't worry about buying it. That's it for this video. Let me know in the comment section what tool you regret buying. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and don't forget to enjoy your leather crafting.